Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see in the background, we're in Radicals this week round Road Atlanta in Daily Race C, and we are underway, starting from 4th on the grid around this tricky, windy, fast-paced track. Coming up to the first turn, going slightly wide so I didn't run into the back of the Dutchman, and with the Dutchman just behind me all over the back of my rear end. We make it safely through to this windy S section where the Dutchman in front has had a bit of a mare, touched the grass, and now he's got dirty tyres. He's gone off wide, so we'll slot into third. Very nice indeed. Puff of smoke, he's been hit and he's dropped right down, so not the best start for him, not a bad start for us, but we'll continue on chasing Crispy Bacon, who's been slapped on the wrist with a half-second penalty himself. And we continue on with a all-British podium so far. If we were to end it now, I'd properly take that, but as you can see in the background, there's a lot of cars chasing us down, and it is a long race. 13 laps around here. Very tough and mentally challenging because the concentration levels are ridiculous. As you can see, Crispy Bacon takes his 0.5 second penalty, and we managed to just slot into second place. Bit of contact from behind, nothing major. We carry on, and now it's our job to keep him behind and obviously chase down Louis ahead. As you can see in the background, someone already taking their pit stop, which was actually one of the most pointless pit stops in the history of motor racing, but this is Gran Turismo and we're used to these kind of silly pit stops. Straight into the pits, don't change tyres, don't fuel up, just in and out, waste 22 seconds of your race. But it adds a bit of strategy and can put other people under pressure if you pit early or pit later, so I suppose it adds that to a race, which made it quite fun in the end, to be fair. Anyway, moving on, coming up to this section of the track, which is actually the worst section of the track for me, and it had been all week. I was alright through this first turn, and then the second one here, which is really tight and slow, I just could not get it right all week. Not too bad, a bit wide there, but could have been a lot better. Really struggled with that one. As you can see, sometimes as well on the gear changes, makes sense to go up 2 gears, which for some reason gave you like a little boost, and it was an accident that I keep going up in 2 gears, but you got to find out these little tips and tricks. I found that one out through Tidjany, watching his daily races, as I nearly lose the rear end coming out of that corner. But yeah, if you're ever struggling to find some tips and tricks, Tidjany's daily races will definitely help you with his lap guides, and if it wasn't for him I would not have known that double shift little life hack. Anyway, flying through this one, 3rd lap already, took a lot of curb on that, through this S section, as you can see, slapped on the wrist with a half-second penalty for that one. Coming up through here, really hard to get this right, uphill, on the power earlier, try not to run wide or you'll get a half-second penalty, which I believe is why Crispy Bacon behind got his penalty, and now I'm going to have to serve on myself. But as you can see, got Crispy Bacon and Victor Rada not far behind, and they will be sniffing blood at the sight of that penalty on my heads-up display, as Louis is absolutely trouncing us. We cannot get close to this guy. He was so much quicker than us. You can see my lap time, he's a second quicker than that, minus my half-second penalty. He'll be absolutely laughing at this one. I think I've just got enough of a gap. Crispy Bacon is going to go for it, backs out a little bit, but puts me under enough pressure to make me know that I know he's there. Coming down here, a little bit of contact, knocks me a bit wide, but nothing major. We stay ahead, very clean racing. I've gone slightly wide, unfortunately. A bit of lawn mowing, which unfortunately I've not been able to do this week in the UK. And we've dropped down to 3rd, which is quite annoying considering it was my own stupid mistake. But it was easy to do on this track, unfortunately. Getting yourself half-second penalty, getting on the grass, losing time. Look, you can see my dirty tyres still kicking in, sliding all over the place. And that's allowed Victor Rada straight on the back of me. Crispy Bacon with a bit of a corner cut there. Absolute scenes the battle here for 2nd and 3rd. Victor Rada weaving left, right. I've gone for an audacious dive down the inside. Victor Rada's bumped me and Crispy Bacon, and somehow we've come out in 2nd, but not for long. Onto the grass. Victor Rada up to 2nd, Crispy Bacon 3rd, and I am still in 4th. So after all that, didn't really gain anything, but it's always fun to have a bit of a battle. As Crispy Bacon takes his penalty, I might just get by him here. Double up shift yet again, just got enough on him to get into the braking zone. Hopefully it doesn't pump me off. But yeah, as you can see on the map, track map on the top right, Louis has absolutely ran away with this one already after 4 laps, and us 3 are having a battle for the podium. Don't really know what happened to Crispy Bacon there. Looked behind me and gave myself a bit of a gap somehow. Don't know if he went to do the pit stop and messed it up like I tried, and then thought better carry on so I didn't get a 3-second penalty. But we've got a bit of breathing space from behind, so it's all about chasing down Victor Rada right now. And he was actually a very quick driver. I couldn't really get any closer. Our lap times were very close to each other, so where I was quick he was slower, and then where I was slower he was much quicker, so it just evened itself out over the lap. As you can see, half-second penalty there, so I put him under enough pressure to make him make a mistake. So it's all about me getting this right. Not a bad run there. Will say that if you did the double gear shift here and then dropped into 4th, you didn't really lose a lot of time. So if someone did have half-second penalty, if they were just a bit ahead, as I think may happen here, you can't always get the perfect run on them. As you can see, he's gone very defensive, so I've got the better run, but he's got a better line, so I can't really cut too much, but he has sort of backed out and let me have that one. So very good driving from Victor Rada. Bit of bump drafting, I don't think he meant it. I think he was just a lot quicker through that section than me, but we move on. We're 2nd, but all this battling, as you'll know if you've played a racing game before, is doing nothing for us pairs. He punts me a bit wide, unfortunately. Managed to hold it, but nevertheless lost the position. A little bit frustrating, but we had some good racing, so I know he obviously just made a mistake. Things like that happen. So I'm back to chasing him back down. Crispy Bacon has been drawn right back into this race, and the hard work of getting by Victor Rada is in the bin, and we've got to do it all over again. He did actually message me after the game to apologise for this, but is what it is. Bit of racing, slight bit of contact. Unfortunately for me, lost the position, but we'll keep our heads and we'll just continue on to try and chase down the Hungarian in front. And skipping on now, on to lap 10, as not a lot actually happened. Crispy Bacon was still behind me very closely. I was still chasing down Victor Rada. As you can see, he's still well ahead, and this is where I thought I'm going to have to try and be tactical here, put people under a bit of pressure, take the pressure off myself a bit, because Crispy Bacon was following me very well. You can see me looking behind there. So this is where I thought, I think I'm going to come in the pits now. So I did actually practice on the time trials entering the pits, because you can actually lose so much time if you get the pit entry right. So as you can see here, just making it before the painted line becomes solid, making sure I didn't get a 3-second penalty. And here is the most pointless pit stop. In and out. The lads at MTR have done a fantastic job there, getting me stopped and out of the way. And as you can see, I have now dropped down into 6th position, safe of 7th with a bit of a gap. So I've come out without too much traffic, so I should be able to just get my head down now, get a couple of quick lap times in, and hopefully when the boys that were around me come into pit, I should get my 3rd position back and maybe even challenge 2nd if I can do some good out laps now, because as you can see, got 2 laps remaining, and in that time a lot of things can happen, especially because everyone's still got to come in, and like I said, getting a penalty for crossing that solid pit line was so easy to do. Because you come over that crest, you can't really see where the line is, so you're sort of guessing where it is. Well, from my camera angle anyway, as I play with the POV off the bonnet, so you can't really see where the line is. So you flick it over the hill, which is actually a very quick turn in itself, flat out in 3rd, skip up to 5th. But if you misjudge it, you can really lose a lot of time. As you can see, the leader's in. Victor Rada's carried on for one more lap. He's going to come in on the penultimate lap, so that he's got 1 lap to finish on. So he's going to try the out lap of his life to keep in 1st position. Crispy Bacon is going to follow him. Louis is coming out of the pits, our net leader, and I've done Bertie B through the pit stop jump. The undercut has worked me a dream there, and now I'm chasing down the Italian Nappy Lamb. So far so good. Got a good out lap initially. Got to keep this pace up though, so that I can chase down the leading 2. As you can see on the top right, I think coming around the last turn now is the leader onto the long straight. I don't think it's the guy that is coming onto the start line. I think he's in last. So pit stops take around 22 seconds, and I think I was about 27 off Victor Rada. So if I get a good lap in and he gets a big mistake, I could be on for a 2nd place, because Louis is completely blown us away here. And as you can see, top right, they're coming into the pits now. Victor Rada's in. Crispy Bacon should shortly follow. Louis should go back into the lead quite comfortably. Nappy Lamb should be going in any time now, and it looks like Victor Rada have done enough to keep us ahead, because I think that's him coming out of the pits now. As you can see, not the best lap time, 1.8 down from my best lap, so I didn't want to push it so that I would get penalties and lose more positions, but I did want to make sure I got at least back on the podium, which I've thankfully done very well. And as you can see, got a little bit of a gap to Crispy Bacon, just like when we left our pits, well, when we went into the pits actually, sorry. And I think we got a slight gap, but he didn't get a penalty, so he'd obviously done very well in his pit stop. So unfortunately Victor Rada did too, so just got to hold on to 3rd position here in our first race. But we're in good position right now. I'd rather be the one in front than the one chasing down. Coming onto the final straight. Can I get the double gear shift? Yep. Victor Rada clear in 2nd. Louis Bat already won. Coming round the final bend now, as you can see on the top right, with the fastest lap. Nearly 2 seconds a lap quicker than me. No wonder he's absolutely walked away with this one. As you can see, coming through the final chicane, over this big crest, onto the final corner, flat out, double shift, didn't work, in 4th, so we're going to finish in third, and that's a podium. So a strong way to build. So we'll jump straight into the second race. As you can see, starting in third this time, so one position higher, and got an absolutely fantastic launch. Rambo bogged down. D Fursov, he's not got a bad start. Lando Norris in disguise, giving me a bit of a squeeze. He's got the better line for the next corner, so may have to back out of this. He's forcing me a bit wide anyway, elbows out, which is fair game. But we're slotting up into second early doors. If you keep your eye out for Rambo on the timesheet though, just keep your eyes out, watch the fastest laps. He dropped himself back into last position from pole on the grid, and spoiler alert, comes on an absolute charge. So just keep your eye out for that guy in the yellow Radical, because like I said, he started from the back and he was absolutely rapid. But anyway, back to our POV. We are chasing down D Fursov, our fellow British compatriot. As you can see on the left hand side, there's actually quite a lot of us in this race, and we're all in close contention. So it turned out to be another quality race, and as we come to the final chicane, we are still quite comfortably in second, and by the looks of it, I think that is Betsy Boy, it's meant to read. We're getting a little bit of a gap between ourselves and the guys behind, so we've just got to push on, us and D Fursov in the lead, and try and break away from the pack without battling too much. Coming through there absolutely perfectly, four-wheel slide through there, braking hard towards this chicane, throwing it in, getting into fourth gear, and absolutely full throttle right now through this tricky S's section, flat out until this corner, uphill braking, back up into third, throttle full down, try not to break track limits and get in that toe. As you can see bottom right on the track map, got a still healthy little gap between us two and third and fourth place. So trying to put the pressure onto the guy in front and hopefully makes a mistake that I can capitalise on. Missed my double gear shift there, so maybe we'll get on a double gear shift here. Yep, straight into sixth. Got a good run on him. Coming into this final chicane in the slipstream. Still going well through this lap. Braking hard at the 200 metre board. Throwing it into the final chicane. Took that nicely. Straight back on the full throttle as Betsy Boy behind takes a bit of lawn mowing. And through the final turn here, right-handed, fifth gear flat out. Fastest lap. Not a bad lap at all. And the pressure is well and truly on the guy in first now. As you can see, my name's lit up that fastest lap leaderboard. He'll be seeing that, everyone else on track will see that, and it will show that at the minute I'm the quickest guy on track, putting pressure on absolutely everyone else. Although I don't think it stays for long, as like I said, the guy who started on pole, very quick player, went to the back of the grid after a terrible start. Don't know if he meant it or not, but flying through the field. As you can see, another quick sector, but I think I've got a bit too close to this guy through this section. Needed to let off a bit, do the old Sebastian Vettel on Lewis Hamilton. It's Spa technique, let off so that I get a good run through. As you can see, I gave him a bit of a nudge, so it actually helped him a little bit rather than gained on him myself. See it a lot in F1 these days, typically most recent obviously when Perez and Sainz was fighting at the Austrian Grand Prix, whereas obviously we don't have DRS, so it doesn't matter too much, but you don't want to be getting caught in a cat and mouse scrap, slowing each other down. As you can see, I'm literally pushing him through this last sector. and there's literally nowhere for me to go. I don't want to be getting on that grass, but nevertheless we're still putting the pressure on him, which is good, and hopefully he'll put crack under the pressure. Gave him a little nudge there by mistake, just got a bit of a better exit from turn 1 than he did, and managed to keep it clean. I slowed down a bit and lost a bit of time to him because I didn't want to push him off the track, but we carry on, and like I say, now I'm just going to keep pressing him, try and make him make a mistake, because as you can see, Doug's still behind, pushing a lot now and actually getting himself back into this race, so I don't want to be slowing us both down trying to fight. I'd rather push him along and then hope he makes a mistake, like I say. And I'm going to skip it forward another lap on as we come towards the end of lap 5. It's not much has changed, still putting them under a lot of pressure, still slowing each other down, but we have seemed to get rid of Dougstar for the time being. As you can see, get a very good exit out of this last chicane on this lap. Make sure I get in the toe. Don't want to put too much pressure on him, like I said, because I don't want to knock him off track and get myself a penalty, but make sure he knows I'm there. Got a nice double shift there, brake in early, try and get the switch back. As you can see, he's skidding a bit too wide. I think he's just caught the grass there, and yeah, there he goes, lawn mowing himself. He's on the grass, and that is what we were trying to do, get up in first position, sorry. On lap number 6, he's finally cracked, and now it's stretch our legs, try and pull a bit of a gap on him, and with the dirty tyres hopefully get a bit of a lead and start controlling this race. And like I said, keep your eye out for Rambo, bottom left, fastest lap, 2 seconds quicker a lap than my last lap, so he is absolutely flying, and it won't be long before you start seeing him on that leaderboard on the left hand side, just above the fastest lap. So like I said, this is my chance really now to stretch my legs and make sure I get myself a big lead, so I don't even have to worry about Rambo. But I'm going to skip it on forward here to lap 10, because not a lot actually happened until this point. And just like in the last race, I was still leading. It was a cat and mouse game, nobody had come in the pits that I knew of around me, so I thought this is my chance. I'm going to dive in early, try and get that undercut, put the other guys behind me under pressure, hopefully come out with a bit of a clear road, nose racing, no one to slow me down. And this is where I bit the bullet and went for it. Took that nicely, just keeping inside the line yet again. Didn't quite slow down enough for this, hit the wall, but managed to just bounce me in. Took no damage, so that was a positive. Another good pit stop by the boys. MCR will be absolutely buzzing with this weekend's work. All that time at the factory has paid off after all. And as you can see, dropped down to 3rd. I think I'm just about going to stay in 3rd, so not even got to worry about Rambo just yet, but it will be very close. As you can see, when I come out of the pit lane, there's Betsy Boy, and in a second you may just see Rambo in the background in his bright yellow Radical coming through this tricky S section, flat out, keeping it tight, don't want no penalties, keep off the grass. And there's Betsy Boy, there's Rambo, just got himself half-second penalty, which is good. A little bit of breathing room from me and him, because as you can see, he's catching very, very quickly. He's all over the back of Betsy Boy already, so that half-second penalty could come in handy later on. And now it's my job to put in a good lap or two, just to make sure I get myself back into first position when the other two boys pit, and hopefully I can just cruise to the finish line with no dangers then. Coming into the final chicane, as you can see, still got a little bit of breathing room from Rambo, and as you can see in the top left, Dougstar has finally come into the pit, so there's one that's going for it. D Furzov in the lead is going to do one more lap, and coming on the penultimate lap, and that means that I now have just got to chase down D Ferzov. Make sure I put in a good lap here. Go slightly wide there. As you can see, Rambo right behind me now, so it's not just about catching up with the guy in front, it's also about making sure I don't let the guy behind get a good run on me, because he is absolutely flying. As you can see, his quickest lap still 2 seconds quicker than my last few good laps before I come into the pits. So really got some work to do, start putting down some good banker laps here, especially as the race is coming to a close. As you can see, got a slight gap, so doing just enough at the minute to keep him at bay. It's one of them at the minute, this stage of the race. Done 12 laps so far. The risk versus reward. You don't want to be sticking it in the wall, going over the grass, taking a penalty, because it can all hamper your race. So as you can see on the top right minimap, D Ferzov just about to enter the pits. There you go, he's in the pits now. Should take around 20 to 22 seconds, I think it was. So I should just about come out in front of him here. And as I round the final bend on the top right, you can see he's just leaving the pits now, so he'll be going very slow. And if I nail this corner now, as you can see, four-wheel drive, drifting, sorry, come out just in front, so the undercut worked to perfection. And as you can see in the background, he has actually got himself a 3-second penalty, so that is not good news for him, but very good news for me, meaning I only have to keep Rambo at bay for now. Bad news is, if he keeps Rambo behind, he'll get a very good launch on me, so hopefully he slows him up a bit, because I need all the breathing room I can get right now. Rambo will be in that slipstream, getting pulled closer and closer to me, and obviously with me having no slipstream, I am under threat. Gone slightly wide there as well, which won't help my case. And as you can see, Rambo all over the back of D Ferzov, so he's going to get an absolutely amazing slingshot here down this final straight. Can I get the gear change? Yes. Just give me a little bit of edge, but as you can see, Rambo getting an absolute incredible launch, and he is absolutely flying. This is going to be very tight. Coming into the final chicane, pin it to the apex, nicely done. Get on the power early. Rambo sliding it through, he's all over the back of me. Coming through the final turn, I have just done enough to keep a hold of it, but what a race that was. And that is another win. Win number 8 for us, and probably one of the closest races I will ever have. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. See you then.